And that, again, ladies and gentlemen, is Senator Dean Barkley, senatorbarkley.com.
And Alex, if I can throw in there, remember, in Dean and I's candidacies, most of our contributions are $50 and $100, $20, $25. We welcome that because we don't spend like these other two parties do. We don't win elections by money. We win them with ideas, but certainly you have to have some money in which to get your ideas out there. And that's how we win. So I want to tell people any amount will be greatly appreciated from a third-party candidate. If you can only send $20, believe me, we'll give you a pat on the back, shake your hand, and a thank you and a look right in the eye.
Well, the mainstream media is even admitting the public is close to physical revolution. Police are saying they're getting ready for riots after the elections. There's open talk of martial law in Congress. Third parties are only going to get stronger and stronger. Independent parties are only going to get stronger and stronger. But if we have this loser attitude and decide that we can't take action, they're going to win. And Governor Ventura, while you were here, and then we're going to go to Senator Barkley, you eloquently spoke to the fact that what's killing us is that Americans have been voting like it's a horse race for the horse they think is going to win, or kind of like these fans who get on the bandwagon for a football team once it's assured they're going to win, instead of ideas, and then that allows the corporate-controlled media to dominate and only show the two parties. Can you say that in your own words?
Well, for me, it's vote your heart and conscience. It's as simple as that. Don't go into that election booth thinking, well, everyone's voting for so-and-so, so I want to be on the winning side. That's the wrong attitude to take. Go into that booth and pick out the person that you most want to do that job, and if you vote your heart and your conscience, you can walk out of that booth with your head held high, knowing that you're a patriotic American and that you're doing what our forefathers had in mind to begin with. Let's remember something. They didn't have in mind career politicians way back in the day when they formed our country. They didn't believe people would go out and make a career of getting elected. They believed that you'd come from the private sector, you'd go serve, and then imagine when you're done, go back to what you used to do or go on to a new career in the private sector is what I usually do. But again, this is an opportunity, Alex, for America, for all the angry people out there to strike out and send a message, send an independent senator to Washington. That'll shake them up more than anything they can imagine.
www.senatorbarkley.com. Barkley is Barkley. We're going to get links up later today up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, and I want to get one of our writers to do a story about this and this important campaign. How much attention have you been getting, Senator Barkley?
I've been getting attention. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's been nonstop. I'm going all over the state of Minnesota. I just got a major endorsement from one of the major papers up at St. Cloud. I couldn't have written a better one. Like I say, everyone who hears me speak and talk about my vision of where this country needs to go and the problems we're facing and how bad things have gotten, and we just need to quit these bad habits. I mean, Ben Franklin said it very well when he said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This country's got to change its direction, and this could be the first step. I mean, you can have a revolution in this country by voting the right way. I mean, if you like what you got, well, fine, pick the Democrat or Republican. But if you want someone who's going to change the direction this country is heading, like Ron Paul wanted to do, here's your chance. This would be the first step. This wouldn't just be for Minnesota. This is for the entire country to say, hey, we've had it. Quit doing what you're doing and start solving these problems and quit fighting, or you're going to lose your job. And I guarantee the only thing that Democrats and Republicans pay attention to is power. And until we start sending people to Washington that consider themselves to be Americans first and members of a political party second, nothing's going to ever change. So this could be the first step.
Absolutely. Senator
Dean, I couldn't say it more eloquently myself. You're ready for the job. I give you my stamp of approval.
No, I'm ready for it, too. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do in this country. We can do anything we want if we just set our mind to it. These problems can all be solved. It isn't the end of the world, but we've got to change the system that's destroying us. And, how much more are we going to take before we're going to wake up and start voting the right way?
Well, I mean, it's good news that folks are upset and we're getting record voter turnout. And it's a process of them fully waking up. So at first they just disengaged from the system. Now they're coming back to it in droves, and they're going to find out, like Ventura said, the governor, that it's a fraud. Then they're going to come to the third parties, to the independents. That's already happening. And so this wave is only building now, and people have no excuse. They can't just sit there and suck their thumbs. No matter where you live in the United States, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can donate. I am going to go online today, and I'm going to donate money to the Barkley campaign. And I think everybody out there should do it because, this is a good shot we've got here to have somebody with a bully pulpit, somebody who can be a swing vote. An independent, even in the House, is a big deal. And a lot of attention gets paid to him. In the Senate, this will be just a huge deal. And it's so important that people get involved right now because we've got, 8-9 days. This money will come in, this ad package being produced, done by tomorrow, ready to hit TV. That punch right to the nose, like Jesse Ventura said. We need to get you elected, Senator Barkley. So again, 763-417-9972 is the number for the campaign office, 763.
Well, I've got some good news, too. Our website is being swamped right now. And so if people can't get through, or if we crash, we'll be back up. So don't give up if you can't get through, because right now my webmaster is telling me we're just being inundated now with support, and I thank you for doing it.
Well, Alex, you're a man of your word, because you told me that yesterday what would happen.
Well, I know how great my listeners are.
No kidding. You're tapped right into your listeners, and I'm so happy. I mean, this is outstanding.
Well, you've got some true Americans out there, and we can take this country back, but we have to start.
Well, folks, if the site does completely crash, we have millions of listeners. The key here is the phone number, 763-417-9972. And Senator, I do hope you have quite a few people there to answer the phones, because they'll get calls. I mean, different stations air this throughout the day and throughout the night, and then some in the morning, so you're going to get calls for the next 24 hours.
Right, and we can take credit card information right over the phone and do the donation that way, so we can get it in time for the TV spots.
Hey, listen, the reason I'm behind you is I've seen your stances, your policies, very close to Ron Paul, very close to what Ventura stood for as well, and I know you were a trailblazer. I know you've already been to the Senate as an appointment for a month, and so it's just right to send you there instead of the other guys. I mean, the other guys are total jokers. One of them's a total establishment insider. Franken's basically a socialist who didn't even really live in Minnesota, been in New York, doesn't even have a Minnesota driver's license till he got back. And, you're there fighting. You helped get Ventura elected. You've paid your dues. You've made your bones in this fight. And regardless of whether you win, lose, or draw, we're taking action. We're not sitting on our butt. Look, when I asked Ventura, when Willie invited, he said, "Yeah, have Ventura down." Ventura came. He's a go-getter taking action while he's shooting, all these pilots for TV and all this other stuff. He came down here just because we asked him to come down here. And so that's why also, a lot of life is just taking action, folks, and not sitting there on your butt questioning. A lot of people want to do it perfect, or they want a silver bullet, or they want to have some, magic master plan given to them to fix things. A lot of it is just getting up off our butts and taking action with the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and just throwing ourselves against the machine. Governor Ventura?
Yes, Alex.
Can you speak to just taking action?
Well, it's a case of if not you, then who? If you sit back and wait for everybody else to do it, nothing's going to happen. But if you step forward, and it requires all of us in our own way, in our own small way, this is the greatest country in the world, without a doubt. But it may not be. The direction that we're heading now, we are not going in the direction of being the greatest country in the world. But we don't need to let that happen. And it's all our choice. We can bitch, we can complain, we can do all of those things. But truthfully, you've got to be people of action. You've got to step forward, do what you can do. If it's only $10, hey, if that's all you can afford to send to a campaign, that's enough.
Or if you've got family in Minnesota, you're from Minnesota, call all your friends and family. Get up off your butt, call 15, 20, 30 people, and tell them, vote for Senator Dean Barkley. Vote for Dean Barkley, and tell them, senatorbarkley.com, www.senatorbarkley.com. That is powerful. People in Minnesota, I know Ted's given to the campaign, the owner of Genesis, based up there in Burnsville, That's what it's all about here. But in the final equation, there is a sleeping giant that's rising, and the people are beginning to resist. Senator Barkley, Ron Paul on this radio show has called for criminal indictments by grand juries at the state level of Paulson, of Fed Secretary, of the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke. What would you do about this bailout and all the corruption we see if you were able to get into the Senate?
Well, I think we're going to put an end to it. I found out a simple fact a couple of days ago. Do you know that these same Wall Street banks that just got bailed out are projecting to spend over $70 billion in bonuses by the end of the year? I mean, what gives here? I mean, this is insanity. We should have an investigation. And if I'm in the Senate, I'll try to get on the committee to investigate what happened here, what really happened.